Dear students, in this presentation, we'll be discussing the Module 1 topic, that is Introduction to Data Structure. Here, we will see what is data, what is data structure, the classification of data structure, and some of the major operations what we can perform on data structure. What is data? Data can be defined as a representation of facts in a formalized manner suitable for communication, interpretation, or processing by human being or electronic machine. So you will be having information. We have to find out some method so that we can use that method for communicating with others in a better way, or you have to find out some method so that we can represent the data in the computer, in the system, or you have to find out some way so that we can interpret that information in a better way. So those are called data. So we'll be getting some information after processing a set of data. Data after processing, we will get the information. The data can be numeric, like age, it is a numeric value, or it can be non-numeric also, like our name, which is a non-numeric, or your data can be discrete value, again, age, 23 years, 40 years, 50 years, marks, 28 marks, 38 marks, 40 marks. It is a discrete value, or it can be non-discrete also, like how many kilometers that you traveled today. 23.3, 23 kilometers, 23.2 fraction value is there. It is a non-discrete value, or you can say it is a continuous value. These data can be a single value, like USN, age, mark scored by a student in one particular subject. It is a single valued. Your USN, it is a single valued. Or this data can be multi-valued also, like phone numbers. Nowadays we can have more than one number also, multi-valued, or multiple mail IDs, or multiple taste, multiple hobbies. These are all multi-valued data. So data can be classified as descriptive or numerical, or that can be a discrete value or continuous value. I'm having a set of information, say marks. These are all data, 23, 45, 32, 44, 21, 20 marks scored by my 6 students. But I wanted to know the student who scored highest mark, student who scored lowest mark, average marks in that set. How I can you which method I can use to represent that in my system? So I must find out some methods, some ways. As you know that all these data are integer type, I must choose one particular way to represent all these data. So best answer is we have to go with arrays, where we can put all the items, all the numbers, marks, like of same type, integer type data. So that is the method, that is the data structure. I have to choose one particular way to represent these information in my system. Then to choose highest, lowest and all, I have to do some kind of processing. I have to arrange that in certain order, ascending order or descending order. By choosing the smallest element or the highest element, I can get that equivalent result. Or by summing up, I'll be getting the total. By knowing the total and by having the number of items, I can get average. That means you are going to perform some operation on data. You're performing some operation like sorting, rearranging of elements is one such operation. Choosing the smallest or the biggest is another such operation. These are the operations we can perform with our data. Another example I will take. I'm having some information about the connectivity between the nodes. Here, A, B, C, D, E are different nodes. Dash indicates that it is a self node. Y indicates there is a connectivity. N indicates no connectivity. For example, A to B there is a connectivity. You can see here A to B there is a connectivity. A to C there is a connectivity. A to D there is no connectivity. This is the data. This is the data which I am having. Now I have to find out other way to send my information from one node to another node. So for that I have to choose certain data structure, certain methods so that which will simplify my work, which can produce the result in less time. So as you know that is a graph. Here all these are the nodes. The edges with the arrow indicates the connectivity, directional, a directed line. So by seeing this graph, I can decide the ways or the methods to reach my destination node by taking some intermediate node. Here, what I wanted to tell, I must choose certain data structure so that it will simplify my work. What is the entity? Entity which has attributes or properties to which values can be assigned. Like USN, it has got information 4SN, 20, CS, 010. That is a value assigned to that entity, USN entity. These entity can have some range of values. Like the maximum mark a student can score or minimum mark that can be given to a student or certain range of values. For example, our internal mark for DS subject is ranging from 0 to 40. 0 is also a valid mark. From 0 to 40 are all valid mark. Range of values are allowed. But I cannot give 41 to a particular student for that particular IMR. I can't give because it is invalid. It is out of that range. So when you got a bulk amount of data, you're going to place that in a permanent place. We call that as file. We can have n number of files. A file can consist records. As you can see that in the chart here, this is some information pertaining to employee having information like entity like first name, last name, address, city, age for some 5 to 6 employees. These are all my employees. These employees are having these information. So all these informations are put in a common place. We call that as file. That file consists n number of records, each record for each particular employees. These records has got certain fields. First name is a field, last name is a field, address is a field, city is a field, age is a field. So data are organized in this way. A file consists n number of records. Each record consists m number of fields. A field is a single elementary unit. First name is elementary unit. Last name is one such unit. Address, city, age are all single elementary unit of information. That 73, 54, 39 and all information pertaining to different employees age. Like that. Mouse, man, woman, duck, bunny, all these are all some information. A field in a record can have fixed length or variable length. As you can see, the age is up to 100. Like that, it is fixed. The size of that information is fixed. That will not change. If you decide to have integer type data for age, up to the maximum value that is taken for an integer can be assigned. But in the case of a city or last name or first name, as you can see, the length of this is varying. We don't know. Need not be same for all the records. Okay, as you can see here, bird it has got 4 characters: BIRD, woman, WOMAN. Like that, the characters length varies over the record. But in that is why these are all variable length record. We don't know the length of each record. Okay, but in case of fixed, we know. A fields can be single valued employee ID. It is a unique, like your USN. It's a unique. No two students having same number. Okay, then some of the things are multi-valued. As I told earlier, mail ID. One employee can have more than one mail ID, more than one phone number, more than one language they can communicate. Or if you take computer languages, one can have a knowledge on C or C++ or Java. These are all multi-valued. So file is a collection of logically related records. As you can see, here we don't have any book information or we don't have information about product. This is pertaining to employee only. All these informations are related to one such logically related records of entities. A record is a collection of fields of a given entity. This is a record. This is a record of one particular employee. This is a record of another employee. This is a record of another employee, like that. So record is a collection of fields. Here in this example, we have got 5 different fields. Now, how to identify a particular record? If you take our class example, how I can identify one particular student? Like a class is having students with same name, like Karthik. There are about 5 to 6 Karthik in the same class. With the name, I cannot identify one particular student. The best way to do that with the help of a roll number, which is unique, or with the help of USN, I can choose one particular student. So that particular unique is called primary key. That particular field is called primary key. USN is a primary key. PAN number is a primary key. Aadhaar number is a primary key. So no two citizen of India is having common Aadhaar number. Aadhaar number is considered as a primary field, primary key. Data structure is a way of describing a certain way to organize pieces of data so that operations and algorithms can be more easily applied. If I if I am using array data structure, array way of representing, with that I can perform some operation. I can rearrange all the elements. I can choose one particular element. I can traverse all the element. I can remove. I can insert some new element to the array. So these are the different operations that I can define on my new data structure called array. A data structure is a particular way of organizing data in a computer so that it can be used effectively. Simply, I cannot throw my data in computer. I must organize that in a proper way. When I'm retrieving the data, I should not feel some difficulty, or computer should not take much time for retrieving the data. It should happen in a less time. The data must be searched in a less time. For that purpose, I have to choose proper data structure based on my requirement. It is not like that for all for data. Now you cannot have all different types of data structure. There is the data structure is chosen based on your requirement. Data structure is a representation of logical relationship existing between individual elements. If I take array, the logical relationship is that all the elements are of same type. That is a relationship. If I'm having all the elements, if I can do some kind of insertion or deletion uh, on any places of that array, I can go with that array data structure. But if I go with the stack, I cannot perform insertion or deletion to any of the element. I have to do with the top of the element. So there is a relationship among the data, among the items. So data structure serves as basis for abstract data types. As you know that character, integer, float, double, long, all these are primitive data type. You cannot break it. These are basic data type supported by any of the language, most of the languages. Now you are going to going to derive a new data type. So those are based on our requirement, like array. It is a new data type. We call that as abstract data type. Structure. It is our own data type, user defined data type for our requirement. So ADT defines a logical form of data type. Array is a logical form. Structure is a logical form. We are forming that data structure based on our primitive data type. So data structure implements physical form of data types. Array, it is a physical form. With that array, I can save that my information in certain format. Or I can use graph, I can use tree, I can use linked list. So these are the way to represent my data in my machine. These are all the physical way of representing my data. So data structure is a class of data that can be characterized by its organization and the operation that are defined on it. In short, the data structure can be defined as a organized data and allowed operation. I will take one example for this array. All the data are of same type. In that way, data are organized. The allowed operations are I can create, I can insert new data, I can remove, I can traverse, I can pick one particular element. These are the allowed operations. So I'm going to define certain function to perform these operations on array. So that is my data structure called array. So data structure can be classified mainly of two categories. One is primitive data type, which are defined by the language, or we can say built-in data type. Others are user-defined data structure. Few of the basic data type defined by the language are integer, float, character, pointer, long. All these are defined by the language. You cannot break it. In the same way, based on these, we can derive abstract data type or user-defined data types. Those are arrays, list, files. As you know that arrays data where each elements are of same type. List, again there are two different types. One is a list linear type, other is a list of non-linear. In case of linear, we've got two different types called starts and queues. Basically these are for organizing the data, but the way in which you perform the operation are different. Stack and queue, way in which you perform the operations are different. In case of nonlinear, data scattered, we don't know which is the next location, but we can go to that particular data item. That is why they are called nonlinear. They are scattered in the memory. Those are trees, graphs, linked list. All these are all of type nonlinear data structure. Now we'll see one by one. The first is list. So there are two different ways of representing a list. One is array representation. Here, all the elements are stored sequentially in the memory. So successive items of a list are located with a fixed distance apart. Uh, as you can see in the diagram, there are 10 elements. Okay, each element will take 4 bytes. As you know that C takes 4 bytes for integer. 4 here, 4 here, like that. But for me it is difficult to remember the actual address, the physical address of that memory. That is why I use a name, logical name, array name with the index value. If my array name is A of 0 indicates the first element, A of 1 indicates the second element, A of 2 indicates the third element, like that. Okay. Here elements are linearly arranged. Sequentially all the elements are stored in the memory. Okay. We know that address of this. If the starting address of this is 1000, I can compute the address of this one. 1000 to 1003, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003 are occupied for this element, and from 1004 the next element starts. I can get the address of the next element, successive element of that particular array. Other representation of list is linked list. Here, items are placed anywhere in the memory. Need not be sequential, need not be one after the other. It can be anywhere. But with the information called address or the link, I can get the next element. As you can see here, these are called nodes. These are all nodes. A node is having at least two fields. One field is called data field, other is called the link field. Okay, the link field holds the address of the next element. So as I told in the case of array, the address of the first element is 1000, address of the second element is 1004, 1008, 1060, like 12, 16, like that. These addresses are all sequential, but in case of linked list, these addresses are not sequential, need not be, can be, yeah, sometimes need not be also, it can be anyway. Okay, if I take if at the time of execution your program gives you the address for this node as 1000, this may be at 2000, this may be at 3000, need not be in sequence. So by having the address of information, address of the second node information here, I can go to this one. So that is why this particular field is used, that is the link field, which holds the address of the next node. In this case, if I assume the address of the first node as 1000, address of the second node as 2000, address of third node as 3000, then here the address of the second node is put, that is 2000. Here in the second node, the address of the third node is put, that is 3000. As we don't have another node and that is the end of the list, so the last node has got a special information called null, which is not pointing to anything. It is null, nothing. Okay, so this is the way to represent the information. By seeing these two, this is the fixed one. We should have the complete information about all the locations, but need not be, it can be anywhere. With the help of linked list, we can manage the memory efficiently. Data again classified as primitive and non-primitive. As you know that integer, real, float, boolean characters are all primitive data type. Integer, floating, boolean, character are all primitive data type. These are supported by the language. These are all also called atomic or primitive, basic data type. Other category of data structure is non-primitive, like a string, combination of characters, set of characters, array of characters, a set of strings. So these are called records. These data structure that are not atomic are called non-primitive or composite. It is the combination of the primitive, having primitive data structure. Here in this example, this is an example for non-primitive, which is a file, it is a record, it is a field. Okay, this is non-primitive. Array is a non-primitive. A single element is integer, but here we have got set of like 10 elements. Set of characters, string, which is non-primitive. Data structure are classified in this way also, that is linear and non-linear data structure. In case of linear data structure, all the data items are arranged in linear sequence. As we have seen earlier, array is of that category. All these items are placed one after the other. So the first item takes 4 bytes, 1000 to 1003. Second data takes another 4 bytes, starting from 1004, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008 for the third, 1012 for the fourth, 1016 for the next item. So these are indexed as 0, 1, 2, 3 with one common name called array. So this is an example for linear data structure. The other category is non-linear data structure, where address are non-linear in nature. Address are different. As you can see here, the address of the first node is 3200, the next is 3600. As you can see, they are not continuous. It can be anywhere, scattered, 4000, 4400. By putting this address in this node, address of the second node in the first, address of the third in the second, address of the fourth in the third, I can create a sort of list, sort of array. But as there is no element after this, I have to put a special information called null. So this is a non-linear because all these nodes are in different part of the memory. Data structure can also be classified as homogeneous or non-homogeneous. In case of homogeneous, as we have seen earlier, array, where all the elements are of same type. In case of heterogeneous, non-homogeneous, elements are of different type. Your structure is of different types. Here, it is of type integer, character, it's a character, again this is of characters array, character array. So these four are of type character array and this is integer. What I wanted to tell, the fields are of different types. Fields are not same type. In case of non-homogeneous structure, all the elements may or may not be of same type. Can be same type or may not be of same type. Data structure can also be of type static or dynamic. In case of array, all these are of same type and we know the size of this data structure. There are 5 elements, each takes 4 bytes. 4 into 5 total of 20 bytes. 20 bytes are allocated. It is fixed. That is why this is static, where size is known before the execution time. So this size is fixed at the time of compilation. The other one is dynamic. Here, the size may change, size may expand, size may shrink based on your requirement. Like when you create this particular linked list, as you can see, there are 4 different nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you decide to remove this last node, means the number of element now shrinks. So here what is the arrangement is required. The second node address in the first, third node address in the second, and after removal of this one, the list is having only three elements. Here we have to modify the address to null. That indicates that we have removed one element. The number of elements now shrinked. Suppose to add one more element, we can add any element any places. We'll be seeing all these in detail in the next module, module 3. I can add it. Accordingly, I have to modify this link information also. In that case, the number of element grows, expands. That is why this is done. What are the different operations we can perform? We can create a data structure, we can create a structure, we can create array, we can create linked list, we can create graph, we can create a tree like that. It is a create. We are going to create new data structure. If we are making some places to accommodate our data. The next is we can pick one particular element in that data structure. We can choose one particular record, one particular element from the array, one particular node from the graph or the tree. It is called selection, choosing one particular record. Other is choosing all the element, accessing all the element exactly once. We have to visit each and every node exactly only one time. That operation is called traversing. We can remove a record, we can update an existing record. We can find out whether a particular record is there in that data structure or not. Finding an element in the array, finding an element in the tree like that. It is a search operation. The result may be with the answer or without the answer. Then we can arrange all the elements in certain order, in particular order, ascending or descending or anything. It is sorting. Or we can merge, we can join more than one information also, like merging two arrays or splitting an array into two. So these are the major operations. All data structure may not support all these operations, but uh, these are all usually used operations on data structure. Now we'll take a few of the operations on array. Array is defined as set of finite number of homogeneous. Important word that you have to remember is all the elements are of same type. It means that an array can contain only one type of data. We cannot mix more than one type. A set of integers only, set of floating only, set of characters only. All these are of same type. We can create an array, we can traverse, we can insert new elements, we can delete the current element or the required element, we can merge two or more arrays, we can modify an existing element. These are the different operations we can perform on data structure called array. We'll see one by one with an example. Create. Here I created two arrays. One array is having four elements, other array is having three elements. Two arrays are now created. Selection. Now I'm choosing one element of the element 18 from the first array. So after choosing, I will be getting the result 18. So I'm selecting the third element in the array. That is called selection process. Deletion. Here from this array 18 is removed. Now the array is shrunk. 32 comes to previous place. 10 as it is, 12 as it is, 32 to the previous place. Now array size is now changed to 3 from 4. So index 2 removed from the array. Index 2 is now occupied by the new element 0, 1, 2. New element occupies the next element comes to the previous place. That operation is deletion. As you have seen here, deletion shrink the array and updating. So if this is an array, I want to modify the value 32. The new modified value is 21. The existing element is now modified. Index 0, 1, 2. Index 2 is modified from 32 to the new value 21. That operation is called updation. Searching. I wanted to search the 24. Is it there in the array or not? The end result is not found. The 24 is not there. So for that I have to start searching 24 in the first index, second index, third index, like that till the end of the array. Even if I don't get that 24 in the array, I will be ending up with the result called not found. If I find that 24 somewhere in the index before the last element, I need not go to the next element. I can stop there only. So that process is called searching. Next, I have to rearrange this array in certain order. I want all the elements in descending order, starting from highest element to the least element. That process is called sorting. The next is merging, where I'm combining, joining more than one array. These are the two arrays I'm combining. This is the first array. I'm joining that with the second array. After joining, the result is 21, 12, 10 from the first array, 76, 56, 90 from the second array. That process is called merging. I can insert new element to this array. In that case, the size will increase, the array will expand. Now 86 is placed after 10. The all these elements will pushed to the right side. So all these elements index now changing, previous index by 1. All are moving to the right side. So for that purpose, first I have to move all the elements to the right side to make a room for the new element. Once I get a room for the new element, go for insertion. 86 is inserted. This is possible only if there is a space. If there is no space, I cannot perform insertion operation. Now, arrays of two types. It can be a single dimension, it can be two dimension, or it can be a multiple dimension also. Just for a simplicity, we'll be taking two dimensions only. One 1D array, second 2D array. So in case of 1D array, all the elements are referred with one subscript. Here we have got two different arrays. One is set of characters, character array, other is set of integer array. So I will be naming this array with a name called subject. I will be naming this array with a name called code. So array name is code here, array name is subject here. So code of 2 means 33, subject of 4 means 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Subject of 4. Code of 4, 35. Subject of 4, 0, like that. Okay. So I need that subscript. Here only one subscript is used. Only one subscript is used in case of one dimension only. In case of two dimension, I need two index, two subscript, one for the row, other for the column. Here, this is an example. These are my five student internal mark. Student number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the suffix with the subscript 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 internal mark 0, 1, 2 are the 3 subscript. So to pick this one, mark scored by third student in the second internal. For that, I need to provide two subscript, one for the row, other for the column. So row index is 2, column index is 1. If my array name is IA, actually that is IA to 1, IA to 1, IA second row, first column, index 2 and column 2, row 3, column 2, row 3, column 2, index 2, column 1. The value 15 is the result. That means I need to use two subscript. The list can be defined as a collection of variable number of items. I don't know the number of elements in the list. I don't know. It can be 1, it can be 2. Sometime new element will join, will be added to the list. Sometimes existing elements are removed from the list. I don't know really the number of elements in the list. Variable number of items. So this is the most commonly used efficient data structure, non-primitive data structure, non-linear data structure used. So here each node should contain at least two fields. One is that information field, data field, other one is that link field, which holds the address of the next node. When we don't have element afterwards, I have to put that address with the null information. Null indicates nothing. The list is ended. So the list will be started here. The list whose node begins. That node is called header node and which ends with the null. Another data structure here we are going to discuss in detail in the next unit, the next module is stack. It is an ordered collection of elements like array, but it has a special feature that deletion and insertion of elements can be done only from one end, that is at the top of the stack. So that is the place we can remove the element. From there only we can perform deletion or insertion. So the base element, the one part is closed, other part is open. That is why this is also known as last in first out. The element that is entered to the stack that can be taken out first, last in first out. So that is diagrammatically represented like this. Here a stack of books. The first book is pushed. Already one book is there. We are going to push one more. So I can perform the operation only on the top of the stack. It comes here. So 2 is placed on top of 1. Right now 2 books are there. I'm going to place one more. 3 can be placed on top of 2. 4 can be placed. 4 can be pushed on top of 3. 5 can be pushed on top of 4. 6 can be pushed on top of 6. I can do till the upper limit. If you have maintained a stack of 10 elements, I can have only 10 elements. Once the stack is having had only 10 elements, I cannot perform another push operation. So once when you are forcibly pushing a new element, if stack is full, so it is going to give an error or your program should give an error message that stack is full. I cannot take any element from the empty stack. At least one element should be there. Another operation which you can perform on stack is pop. So the element can be popped out. See here in this case 5 can be popped out. So 4 cannot be popped before without popping 5. So 4 can be popped out only after popping out 5. Here in this case, in this case 2 cannot be popped all of a sudden because I have to pop 4, 3. Then only I can perform pop operation. So pop operation or push operation works only with top of the stack. So insertion and deletion can be performed on top of stack. The next is queue. So this is another special data structure where we can perform operation on two different ends. In case of stack, only at the top of the stack we can insert or we can delete. But in case of queue, we have got two different ends. There are different varieties of queue. We'll see that in the second module under queue heading. So here one new element can be inserted. That end is called rear end. Element can be removed from the queue. That end is called front end of the queue. So this is compared to array, almost same as array, but in case of array we can perform operation on any place. Queue is also array, but operation is performed only at two ends. That too, only one end is reserved for insertion, other end is for deletion. So in case of stack, again this is an array, but operation is performed only on top of the array, only one end. So the next data structure is tree. Here elements are organized in the hierarchical form. One particular node is identified. That particular node is heading that is called root of the tree. So other parts are called subtree, a part of the tree, subtree. So these are This node is child node of A. This is another child of A. B is left child of A and C is right child of A. E is left child of C, F is right child of C, D is left child of B. Like that, the B is not having right child. It is indicated as null. These are called leaf node D, E, F because the tree is not there. Subtree is not there. This is the end of the tree. This is the root node. This is the leaf node. This is the external node. These are all internal nodes. Like that, data are organized. This is very much important. This tree is very much useful when you are organizing the data. That will save computation time of searching. The next data structure we are going to deal in module 5 is graph. As you can see in this diagram, there are some nodes. Node number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all called nodes, vertex. Okay, so this may be the cost, the weight, this may be the cost of sending something from a node, certain node to other node, from a node to another node. We'll take one example. There is a node 6, there is a node 5. This edge indicates that is any direct connection from node number 6 to 5. If so, what is the cost involved? Here 9 unit is required to send some information from node number 5 to 6 or 6 to 5. Okay, so this is weighted graph. As there is another type of graph called directed graph, where the same thing like we can send something from 5 to 6, but not from 6 to 5. In such case, arrow is used here. Arrow, like arrow. In this way, arrow is used. That means there is a connectivity from node number 5 to 6, but there is no connectivity from 6 to 5. These are the different types of graph we will see in detail under module 5. With this, I'll be ending this presentation. Thank you for listening.